Hey everybody, we're on to a section that I really enjoy, cross multiplication. It's going to be a 2-day lesson. We'll have 2 separate videos, and I think you guys will like it too. It's a lot of real world stuff. Cross multiplication is it gives us 2 fractions, like here and here, and we know already through just basic math that these fractions are equal to each other because 2 times 2 is 4 and 3 times 2 is 6. So we know that these are equal fractions. But we have a thing called cross multiplication, which most of you have seen before, where we put an x through the equal sign, and then I need you to write this in here. In order to do cross multiplication, you must have an equal sign. If there is no equal sign, you cannot do this. So you need to make sure that's marked down in your notes. Anyway, once we go across the equal sign, we multiply across it. So we go 2 times 6, and that equals 3 times 4. Now, if these are equal to each other, then the fractions are equal. If these are not equal to each other, then the fractions aren't. Well, 2 times 6 is 12. 3 times 4 is 12. So these fractions are equal to each other. Okay? And down here on the bottom, it should be the same type of thing. 1 times 10 is 10. 5 times 2 is 10. So these are equal fractions. Nothing too complicated there. Okay, now as we get to these types of problems, which is what we're going to be working on in algebra, is we're looking for what value does x equal in order to make these equal fractions. Now I know some of you have already seen 5 times 2 is 10 and 4 times 2 would be 8, so we know x should be equal to 8. Now that's great that you can do that, but I want you to practice cross multiplication because these will get harder really quick. So the way we do it here is nice and simple, same thing. 4 times 10 on one side, and then we do 5 times x on the other side. 4 times 10 is 40. 40 equals 5x. And all of a sudden, we have a linear equation. We draw that line down the middle, and we divide by 5 on both sides. I'm hoping we remember how to do this. So x equals 8, just like we had before. Down here on the bottom, same type of thing. 4 times 10 is 40. 8 times x is 8x. We divide by 8 on both sides, and this time x equals 5. Now, to check these answers, all you do is plug them back into the original equation. So for this top one here, we go 4/5 is equal to 8/10, and you have to figure out that these are equal however you want. You can turn them into decimals. You can see that they're equal to each other. You could do cross multiplication again, but those are good. Down here on the bottom, 8/10 is equal to 4/5, and those are equal to each other. Okay. Now as we get tougher, okay, we start dealing with 2 separate things. We have decimals in here, and we have where the fractions are not simple anymore. Let's do the top one first. So we do here, same thing as before, okay, but now we get n times 10 is 10n, and 3 times 0.4, well, that's going to need a calculator. And if I click the wrong button, that's no good. Is 1.2. And now it's the same as before. We got to divide by 10, except we're going to get a decimal answer. So n equals 0.12. Now, because our answer is really weird, we have to check. So we get 0.12 over 3 is equal to 0.4 divided by 10. And now to check these, I'm going to turn both of these fractions into decimals. So I'm going to go 0.12 divided by 3. That gives me 0.04. So that means that this fraction here is equal to 0.04. And on the other side, I do 0.4 divided by 10, and that gives me the same fraction, or same decimal, sorry. So those are equal. Now down here on the bottom, Rachel's going to be really pumped because the distributive property is back. For this 2 is getting multiplied by this entire quantity, x plus 3. Okay, so the 2 is getting multiplied by each of these terms. 2 times x is 2x. 2 times 3 is positive 6. On the other side, it's simple. It's just 6 times 10. And now it equals 60. So now instead of a one-step equation, we have 2. So we subtract 6. We get 2x equals 54. We divide by 2 on both sides, and x equals 27. Okay. To check our answer, we go 27 plus 3 over 6 is equal to 10 over 2. Well, 10 divided by 2, that's 5. 27 plus 3 is 30. 30 divided by 6 is also 5. So there you go. All done. I'd like you to try these on your own. Okay, let's see how we did. This top one. So we got 0.8 times negative 3 divided by 11. Top one should have been negative 0.2. And on the bottom, that one I'm going to have to actually do. So we get 9y minus 18 is equal to 32. So 9y equals 50. So your answer should have been 59ths or 5.55 repeating, whatever you did there. So I would do 5.56. Okay, questions, bring them to class. Now let's do some story problems. Mr. Schmidt drives in his car for 4 hours and he traveled 132 miles. What if he drove for 3 hours at the same speed? The idea is that we're going to create a proportion just like we had before. But here's the difference. We have to put labels on our answers. So I have Mr. Schmidt drives in his car for 4 hours and he traveled 132 miles. Well, that's our first information. So I'm going to put 4 hours on the top here. You could put it on the bottom. Okay, and I'm going to cross it out because I used it. And he traveled 132 miles. Put it there. Okay? Now, because we did hours and miles on this part here, that means this has to be hours and miles as well. So what if he drove for 3 hours? That goes here at the same speed. That's a question mark or an X. And all of a sudden, we now have our problem. 4 over 132 is equal to 3 over X. I want you to try to solve that one on your own. Okay, we should have gotten 99. So it should have been 99 miles. Make sure you give an answer and a label. Okay, here's a short video.
Here we go.
So in that video, I shot baskets for 15 seconds and I made 4 of them. What if I shot for 5 minutes? I want you to make this proportion, and noticing here that we have seconds and minutes, so we're going to have to convert those to be consistent. So give it a try. Okay, for this one I did 15 seconds here over 4 baskets. And I set it equal to 5 minutes. That's going to be 300 seconds. And I'm trying to find X baskets. So cross multiplication. So I have 15X is equal to 1200. I divide by 15. Whoops. 80 baskets. All right, assignment's online. Have a good day.